Hey everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. So today we are going to repair some of the damages to the side of the car that we incurred on lap 2 of the Riverdale Rallycross that you guys saw a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I came into chicanes near the finish. I'll put a little dab of video in here so that you guys can see, if you didn't watch that other video, how I did this. I'll put that in like right here. So basically, I didn't dent the car at all, but I got scratches all the way down the side of it. I slid right into a big old bush, and it's black, so it's going to show everything. I got a few scratches on the side of the tail light here, which I'm not too concerned about because plastic polishes out really easy. But I've got scratches. All the way down the side of the back bumper, quarter panel, through the door, both doors. I got this big one right here. This feels like it might just come off real easy. Looks like it's more transfer than anything. Got a few on the top of the fender here, and then some bad ones right here. So you can see I basically I came into the whole thing sideways and just slid right into it. Once I figured out what I did, which only took a moment, I just mashed it and drove off to finish my lap. So what do I have? I've got a microfiber polishing pad here, Meguiar's microfiber polishing pad. Brand new jug of 100. I really like this compound. I've used it before. Works really good. And I've got two polishers. One is my Griot's random orbital, and then I also have a Makita rotary. So if we need to get really aggressive, we can throw the pad on the rotary for a minute and see how much of it we can get out. So that is going to be our episode today, is making this car look sort of like it did before I slid it into a bunch of bushes. So let's get to it. Alright, so I screwed up. The 100, Meguiar's 100, is only for rotary, and it's really aggressive. I also have the Sonus Swirl Buster polish. I got this from Autopia Car Care several years back, but it's a good polish. So I'm going to use this with the random orbital, this with the rotary. So that is, I just wanted to clarify my mistake before I got too deep into this and you guys saw me using a whole nother jar of polish on this car. So we will get to it with the Swirl Buster first. If it's not aggressive enough to get these scratches out, we'll move to the rotary and see what happens. I know there's like thousands of different ways that people do this, getting the best results, and I'm just going to do what I've done in the past because I know it works. It may not be the most efficient, and it's a way that you can do it and get your car looking better. Now if you're really going to get anal and like reduce all the holograms and the swirls and all that kind of stuff, technique really does have a big thing that comes into play. So what I'm doing here is I'm just wetting the pad with a little bit of water, and then I'm going to rub in my polish. Get a nice even coat of polish on there. And then I'm just going to start on a lower speed, probably 3.5 or so. And I'm just going to work this little area right here. I'm just going to use a little detailer, check the progress. seems like it's working pretty good. So I'm going to use just a little drip of quick detailer to help keep this polish moist. So I've still got this area didn't work very much, but looks like Toyota paint is, or at least on this car, it's fairly soft. So I've got a few more spots to work out right in here, and I've got these scratches to work out right here. So I have a couple options. I can keep working the larger one. I also have a miniature 3-inch polisher that I can use to really get aggressive on some of this stuff. But I think I'm just going to keep working with the larger polisher. The Swirl Buster polish is working really good right now. And now that we have our pad charged with polish and it's moist, we don't really have to worry about continuing to moisten it. We're just going to keep working the polish. Still got, I don't know if you can see it in the video, still got a couple of little scratches right here and a pile of dirt on the ground that's been coming out of the fender as I've been working. But I'll grab the little 3-inch polisher and use it just right in here so you can see how that works. So the 3-inch polisher is just a smaller version of the full-size one. Do the same thing and prep up my pad here. This has a foam pad on it, which is a little bit thicker, but not quite as aggressive. So you can see we were able to work a much smaller area. And you could work just almost four little pieces of the size of the pad. I don't know how to say it, but we can work down just into this little area where there's one scratch is left. So if you have like a small scratch that you're trying to get out, this is a really good tool to like localize your polishing. So that actually came out really nice compared to this. You can see in the reflection, I've got most of the scratches out of this panel. So I'm happy with this for a daily driver. So we're going to continue to focus our efforts and just move forward down the car. And I'm just going to let you guys watch and hang out. And I'll probably speed this part of the video up, throw some music in it so you're not quite as bored while you're just sitting here watching me work. So, and we'll see how much dirt falls out of the car. I sprayed it out at the car wash after the last race, but never seemed to quite get it all out apparently. So, and then I'm also going to use the 3-inch polisher right here on the scratches on the taillight, because it's real easy to get into small spots too, which is nice. The 3-inch polisher does a real good job on that kind of stuff. I got some scratches right down in here too where I hit that doggone bush. So, alright, time to work. Good as new. Probably better than new. The other things you can do with a 3-inch, if you don't have one, is headlights. It works really good on headlights because headlights are generally smaller and they take a little bit more energy to polish. So polishing up your headlights with a 3-inch, it's a good tool to have in your arsenal if you if you're that kind of person that likes to keep stuff clean and looking sharp. So now we're going to work this panel right here and try to get all the scratches out of it. I'm probably going to use a combination of the 6-inch and the 3-inch because I've got some scratches. Now, I'm going to move everything down here. So I've got a really good scratch right here that the 3-inch is going to be good for because I can kind of focus where I'm polishing. I've got this whole section here that's going to be good for the 3-inch. This section here will be good for the 3-inch, and then up into here with the 6-inch to get all those scratches out. So we'll show you guys a before and after of the areas we're polishing. I'll use the little buffer as a tool, as a guide. So. So this is my disclaimer. There are probably thousands of tutorials online on how to polish up your car. What products to use, what pads to use, what polisher to use, how to do it. There's several thousand wrong ways to do it, and depending on who you talk to, 1 or 2 right ways. So if you don't agree with how I did it, that's okay. I know there's probably better ways to break down the polish and let the polish do its work and all that kind of stuff. And this is the way that I've gotten it to work for me. So take it with a grain of salt. If you're really interested in this kind of stuff, check out like hundreds. I'll recommend Ammo NYC. He's got a really good detailing channel. If you're really into detailing, check out his channel. Guy is spot on his stuff. So this is where we ended up after about 10 minutes of work on this panel. You can see there's our corner that we had all scratched up. There's still some little hairline, like micro scratches in there and that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about that kind of stuff right now on this car because it's got 75,000 miles on it. I drive it in the dirt. I drive it on the freeway. You know, it's a daily driver. It gets parked in parking lots and all that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to minimize the impact, let's say, to the appearance of the vehicle by taking some time, polishing out what we can, making it look better, and you know, we'll do what we can for it. So our pile of dirt hasn't grown yet. I think maybe once we get to the front fender, I'll have some more dirt fall out. So I'm going to start working on this rear door, and I'm going to use the big polisher on this except for the door handle because I got some scratches right on the door handle here, and it'll just be easier to focus on those with the little polisher. And just noticed I got another big scratch right up here, so I'm going to have to polish out the whole door. So. Look at the difference about 5 or 10 minutes makes. Hold something up so you guys can get a reflection on this. So there's our scratch, and there it is, gone. So So it's not a difficult process. Really, anybody can do this. It's just taking your time and working a small area, letting the polish break down. I don't know if you can see it, but as you work the polish, you can actually see like it starts out at a more granulated state, and this polish kind of breaks down and becomes finer and finer as you work it. So I'll try to show you guys that in this next pass, kind of how the polish starts out, and I'll see if you should be able to see a difference as I work the panel. You'll see that polish break down and become finer and finer. So that's the goal for this next pass, is to show you guys that. And again, we're not using very much polish at all. Like, this is probably 3 or 4 drops, but I just spread it around on the pad so it's spread around the start. So I'll put it on here. I'll just do a quick back and forth over the area we're going to polish out, so you can see how the polish starts, and then I'll show you guys as I get near the end of the polish how it breaks down. Hopefully you can see a difference. So here is our polish just as we've applied it, and I don't know if you can see, like down in here, kind of some of the little more granulated type material. It's not like not like sand or anything like that. Well, some of the polishes do have the granules in them, but hopefully you can see as I work this down how the polish changes. Kind of gets it. I'll see if I can pull you guys a little closer here. See, it'll get a different look to this whole panel, or to this whole area. Now we're not done polishing this section yet, but if you look at it, you can kind of see how the polish is becoming finer just from working it. That's what you want. You want the polish to kind of break down and become finer, so that it's just chemically how they design it to work. So I'm going to moisten this back up just a hair. Not a lot, just enough to keep the pad. Okay, so now the polish should be at its finest, and you can see it's the way it's reflecting has changed quite a bit, which lets you know that it's breaking down. Now I could work this further until the polish actually breaks down completely. And you can tell when that is usually because your passes, it will start to become dry when you do your passes. But for this project, I don't need to go that far. Again, we're just trying to clean up the daily and get rid of all the rally scars on it. So I can still see I've got from here to here, I've still got just a little bit more work that I need to do. So I'm going to put a little more polish on and just work that area. In fact, I might just work that area itself with the small polisher. You can grab the 3-inch. Just work that area where that scratch is. So some people again will disagree with how I'm doing this, but managed to get that nice long scratch that went all the way down the door out of it. Well, there's still a little one right here, but that's you know, normal for a black car especially. Black cars are such a pain. I didn't want a black car, but you know, it's what I have. So so I'm gonna finish up the bottom of this area on the door. Just get these little scratches out down here. I'll move to the front door, the fender, and we'll probably polish the headlights as long as I've got everything out. So we'll just keep working. Okay, everybody, so I did not start the camera because my battery died. So instead of just swapping, like going in and getting the charger and all that kind of stuff, and I've got using a new GoPro. The audio seems like it's a lot better on this one, so I got to get another battery so that I can keep recording when the battery dies. So back to the car. So I went through and finished the polishing, put a coat of wax on it, washed it because I still had a bunch of ash on it from my trip, and I didn't wash the whole car, I just washed part of it that I was going to work on. So so I put a coat of wax on it and got everything cleaned up and dried off. I still got to put my other wheels on it, the ones that I usually drive on, because I don't run on these snow tires all summer. So without my rambling continuing, here we go. So let's see if I can grab something to show the, because it's a little dark out here. Let me find something that's reflective. Alright, so I literally just grabbed a sheet of paper that has some writing on it and stuff. So you can see we did a really good job of getting all of these little scratches out. Looks 10 times better than it did. And even the ones in the front bumper came out real nice. There's still just a real faint scratch in there, but it's really happy with how it all came out. So that was a success. I'm not doing anything heroic here. This is just getting some product and doing the work. It's not anything that you can't do on your own. Let me show you what I used, and so that way if you want to get some of it you can too. So I used Griot's garage stuff. It doesn't have to be Griot's. These guys were local to me, so I was able to go to their store and buy it. They have a pretty good warranty on their stuff. It's lifetime, so which is good because I think my little 3-inch started to fuzz a little bit, like something's going on with the switch or something, because it kept shutting off every so often. So I'm going to run it by their store on my way by there one day and see if I can either get it diagnosed or swapped out. So, but I used their, and this one's a couple years old. I know they have a newer version, but random orbital polisher. It's got little holes in there to help keep the disc cool. And then a 3-inch random orbital. Didn't even need to get into the big rotary, just because the paint was soft enough that it didn't require really aggressive correction. It just needed a little patience. So I guess the lesson when you're doing these type of things is it's better to work slowly and be less aggressive, kind of work your way through it, than it is to just grind through the paint with something really aggressive right off the bat. So with that, that is the end of our episode for today. Hopefully this will end up being a little shorter episode than our normal ones, and I'll put a link to Griot's, and I almost forgot, the Sonus Swirl Buster polish that I used. I was going to use the Meguiar's with the rotary, but since we didn't pull the rotary out, it didn't matter. I also used a Meguiar's DMC6 microfiber pad. You can use an orange pad. You can use the microfiber pads. It's just personal preference. So. So with that, that is the end of our episode. Thank you so much for watching Throttle Grotto. Thank you so much to all of the people that have subscribed. We're over 100 subscribers now. It's super exciting to hit that first milestone, and it just shows that you guys enjoy what we're doing here. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and until next time, get out there and work on something.